Welcome to Season 4 of Rebuilding Blackburn Rovers, and previously in the series we've won the Sky Bet Championship, we've been 7th and 5th in the Premier League, we've won an FA Cup and we've been runners-up in the Europa Conference League. This season we need to try and win the Premier League and we play our first season in the Champions League. Let's go and have a look at how things went. Oh, what a pre-season it's been. This has probably been the most difficult pre-season I've had since we started doing this save. This is the start of season 4. And as I said in the intro, we've done really well so far. We've won an FA Cup. We won the Sky Bet Championship, 7th place and 5th place in the Premier League. Runners up in the Conference League. We do have Champions League football this year. If we go over to our competitions page and we click on the Premier Division, we'll have a quick look at the season preview. They're expecting us to finish 11th. So according to the season preview, we have slowly but surely been moving up this little league here. They expect us to finish 11th. I'm wanting top 4 this season. We need to make a challenge for the Premier League. And look, we made a play for it last season. We done really well last season. If we go back and have a look at the table, there we are 5th in the league with 75 points. We were only 3 points away from being 3rd. You know, we're only 6 points away from winning the league. So that is the aim of the game. Now, I did say at the end of last week's video that the goals conceded side of things has been a bit of an issue for me, that we need to try and reduce the amount of goals we're conceding, improve our defensive side of things. And I was going to come up with a new tactic. I have done that, and I'll show you that tactic shortly. What I do need to show you first, though, is the transfers that we've made. And boy, have we had some business. Now, my biggest concern going into the summer was over James Garner, our star midfielder, our star player, who's the best player at the club. He had a £50 million release clause in his contract. There was a lot of issue over whether he was going to stay or not because he wanted a new contract that he didn't because there's people interested in him, blah, 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 blah. In the end, he did go, and he's not the only one that went for big money either. So let's go and have a look at the transfer history. And this is staff, by the way. We had practically all our staff, as you see from this side here, transfers out. All our staff basically left in the summer. They were all coming up to the end of their contracts, and they were all a load of pants. So I just said, off you go to a lot of them. And now I've just brought in a load of new people. If I show you the staffing quickly, we've still got 4 scouts and a chief scout to bring in. So this will bump this up a little bit. Physios, like the medical department, is maxed out. We've got everyone we can. I mean, from the physio side of things, we're the 6th best in the Premier League. From the sports scientist side of things, we're the 6th best in the Premier League as well. From a coaching perspective, we've got the best goalkeeping coaching setup in the league. We're pretty decent for fitness and mentality and man management, and we're getting there for the rest of it, but we are pretty much maxed out. We're just trying to bring in a head of youth development, which will give that a little bit of a bump up as well. So yeah, that's the staffing side. But let's get back to transfers and let's have a look at all transfers. And there you go, 101 million we've brought in this summer. And that has been mainly because James Garner has gone to Manchester United for 50 million and Nikola Kavlina, our goalkeeper, went to Al Ittihad for 51 million, potentially rising to 61 million. What's mad about that is he had a £27 million minimum fee release clause in his contract for clubs in the UEFA Champions League. And obviously Al Ittihad are not in the Champions League. So instead of getting 27 million for him, we got 51 rising to 61. So that 101 million has come in very, very useful. We've had Tom Atchison has gone out on a free and a couple of loans as well. Over here, we'll get to these very shortly. This one here, this is special, by the way. This is worth hanging around to watch. We have got in a new goalkeeper in Jonas Erbig for £25.5 million. He is actually an upgrade on Kavlina, sorry. If we have a look at his contract, he has got a minimum fee release clause of 79 million. It doesn't limit him to clubs in the Champions League. It's just a flat minimum fee release clause. But he is on £100,000 a week. He's got the usual bonuses and whatever else, but he's here for 5 years. And I actually think he looks a really decent rounded. You know, he's got good goalkeeping attributes. His mentals are really good as well, as are his physicals. He is a really good goalkeeper. I like the look of him a lot. We also brought in Orkun Koku, who's just arrived. 13 million, potentially rising to 16 million. Central midfielder, can play in the deep line playmaker role that we need. He can also do the box-to-box midfield role if we want to. I love the fact he's got 16 for long shots as well. He's got good passing, good vision, good decisions, composure, all that sort of stuff. He's 3-star current ability, potentially rising to 4 stars. Isaac Johansson, now this is the one. This, when we first got him, was 4.5 stars current and potential, and I think it will rise back up to that. But he's a central midfielder, can play in defensive midfield as well as a deep line playmaker and Segunda Volante and all that sort of posh stuff. But we've got him in here basically to be a deep line playmaker. I've got him in on a free transfer. Essentially, I saw he was available. I was actually looking for right backs, and somehow he showed up in the scouting recommendations for right backs. Don't know how, because it's the only position on the field he can't play. But yes, had a look at him, saw he was available on a free transfer. I thought, oh yeah, I'll get him in on a right back. So I offered him a contract. After I offered him the contract, I then had another look at him and saw that he can't actually play right back. Saw that he plays central midfield, he can play the deep line playmaker there, and thought, actually, do you know what? I'm going to keep this signing because A, he's free and he's amazing, but also he can potentially be a replacement for James Garner if and when he leaves, because James Garner's still at the club at the time. So Garner's moved on, and we've got 50 million for him and brought in Isaac Johansson on a free transfer. I am a genius for making that mistake by thinking he was a right back. Right, if we go back to the previous season, because there's more signings, don't go anywhere yet. Samuel Vignato, 17.25 million from Brianza, can play left, right, centre, up top. Basically just plays anywhere he wants in the attacking area of the field. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. Again, he looks a really decent attacking option for us. He's got really good acceleration, very decent pace as well. So really happy to have him in the team. Then we've got Robin van Duiven, who we bought him on potential. He's 2-star current ability with 3.5 to 4.5 star potential for us. He's going to be a mainline striker. Basically, he's our Callum Wilson replacement. We've gone from one extreme to the other. We've gone from someone that's on the verge of retiring to someone that's basically just stepped out of his nappies. So really happy with that signing. He came in for 7.5 million from PSV. That was his release clause, I believe. Leo Sauer, he's the next one that's come in. He's in for £15 million from Feyenoord. We've raided the Dutch leagues a little bit here. Could play left, right, down the middle. Again, he just looks a really good option. He's 2.5 star with 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. 20-year-old Slovakian, will no doubt be an international before too long. Then the final signing, Vitor Gabriel for £12 million from ATM. We have ourselves a Brazilian fullback, 2-star current ability with 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. He will basically replace Brian Aguirre, and yeah, just looks a decent option. We're going a lot with potential for this season rather than actual and current. But yeah, all looks really, really good. Right, I'm going to move over to the facilities page because I've got some news for you regarding the club's facilities. Right, here we go with the facilities then. And if you remember, in the last episode, we had arranged for training facilities to be upgraded. They're now superb training facilities. The youth facilities are now excellent youth facilities. Since then, I've made 2 more requests. The first request was for the youth recruitment to be upgraded, and they've now been upgraded to excellent youth recruitment. So all of this is looking really, really good at the moment. What we've also done, and I'm a bit alarmed, it doesn't say anything on here, is I wanted to have a look at the possibility of either a new stadium or an expansion to our new stadium, our current stadium, because 31,363 is what we've got at the moment, and we were filling 99% of that last season. So I put in a request for it, and they've agreed to expand the current stadium. It's not a massive expansion, but it's going from 31,363 to 35,500, and so that, yeah, it's basically a 4,000 seater expansion, which is due to be completed by September of next year. So they're not doing it anytime soon. But what it does mean is by the end of the 5 years that we would have been here at Blackburn Rovers, their stadium would have been expanded to a 35,000 seater stadium. I'm going to carry on trying to get training and all that to continue to get it upgraded even more. But at the moment, I think we've done a pretty good job of that. Now, one of the things we want to achieve at Blackburn is to ensure that the finances are good. It's all well and good rebuilding a club, but then we leave here and they've got hardly any money. They're in a barrel load of debt and all this sort of stuff. We want to make sure this is a realistic rebuild and that the finances are good when we leave. And as you see up here, financial status is rich. They've got 54.5 million in the bank. And if we look at their debts and loans, the transfer debt, I take that as being in credit, because if we're actually in debt, that would be in red with the question of the bracket, open bracket and closed bracket by it. But 31.4 million, to me, I take that we're in credit with that. You know, that's what other clubs owe us compared to what we owe other clubs. Let me know in the comments if you think different, if you think I've got that wrong. But that's what I think. And net debt, obviously we are £190 million in debt because we've got this loan here and other loans that have come out. But that's nothing to do with me. I can't do anything about that. We're paying that back at the moment. We've been paying it back since March. And we're going to be, I mean, this don't make any sense here at all. It says start date 1st to the 3rd, 2026. Oh, to 2030. Okay. I thought it said 2026. I was like, hang on, that's gone back a month. But yeah, so that's going to be going on. That's a 10-year payment on a loan. So we can't do a great deal about that. If we go into the schedule, pre-season friendlies have been pre-season friendlies. It's basically trying to get the first team up to speed. I've been really disappointed with injuries at the moment. I'll get to those shortly. But we started off against Midtjylland with a 0-0 draw, not too grim. Then we beat Monterey Bay 2-0. San Diego we beat 4-0. And Orange County we beat 5-1. That was during our pre-season tour of America. Then we come over here, we lost 1-0 to AA Gent. Then we played FC Twente and won 3-0. And Go Ahead Eagles, we won 2-0. Robin van Duiven finally getting on the score sheet for us because he hadn't scored a goal in pre-season up to that point. Then we played the Charity Shield against Chelsea, and Lewis Travis, who wouldn't normally be in our starting 11, scoring both. He wasn't even in the starting 11 on this game. He came on as a sub, but he scored in the 73rd and 84th minute to make it a 2-1 win for us. And if we look at the stats here, we did not deserve to win this game. I'm telling you that now. This was a smash and grab. Michaela Mudryk gave them the lead on 32 minutes. We had 2 shots at goal, both of which were on target, both of which we scored. We only had 1 corner in the entire game. We committed 26 fouls. We only got 1 yellow card despite all the fouls. And we only had 41% possession. Now, this season we're going to have to get used to not having a great deal of possession because we'll get to the tactic in a moment. But this was a team that we started with. And like I say, this is nowhere near the first team we would have if everyone was available. We had Urbig in goal, Brown and Gabriel in the full-back positions, Parola and Moreno continuing in the centre of defence. Hinshelwood, Ben Rahu and Rankin Costellos, we're now going for a 4-3-3 rather than the 4-2-3-1 that we had. So basically we've taken Smodics out of here and replaced it with a defensive midfielder here. And the 2 defensive midfielders we did have now been pushed up into the centre of midfield. Sauer, Vignato and Van Duiven. Vignato's actually had a really good pre-season. I've been quite impressed with him in pre-season. So, yeah, that's a tactic. It is a custom fluid counter-attack. There is only one change. Oh, no, it's already on there for play for set pieces. So, yeah, this is our new tactic. We're going to be overlapping left and right, working the ball into the box, playing for set pieces. We're going to run at the defence, slightly higher tempo, shorter passing directness, counter-press, counter when possession has been won. Nothing else has been added to this except distribute quickly. And then out of possession, we're going to play a lower line with a mid-block. We're going to get stuck in, drop off more, and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. That's how we've set it up at the moment. We've made no changes to the player roles or anything like that. But if things need to change as the season goes on, we will change it. It's a risk with us changing the tactic because the other tactic, although I weren't happy with how open we are at the back, it was a tactic that was working. So this is quite a challenge, quite a change for us, which we could end up regretting. These are the injuries we've got at the moment. Therese Dolan has literally just come back from an injury and he's now available again. Sammy Smodics has also been out injured and he's still out injured for another day. So when he comes back in, he will slot into this role here. Like I say, Isaac Johansson will drop in there when he's available, which will certainly boost that quite a bit. But at the moment, he's not available. He's out for another 2 weeks. Joe Rankin Costello is out for another 4 or 5 days. And Vitor Gabriel, our new right back, he's out for another 2 weeks as well at the moment. So this is probably the team we're going to end up starting the season with the exception of the first game of the season where Sammy Smodics won't be available. So Lewis Travis will continue in that role. So yeah, that's pretty much all I need to show you for part 1. Join me for part 2, where we'll be around the halfway point of the season. It'll be the 1st of January. I'll just show you the fixtures. We've got Southampton, Crystal Palace and Fulham to begin the season with. So not a bad start to the season. But then we do have Liverpool, Manchester United after that, Wolves, West Ham. When we look at the end of the season, our final 5 games at home to Tottenham, away to Newcastle, at home to Aston Villa, away to Leicester and at home to Bournemouth. That's provided we don't get a load of changes, fixture changes and rearrangements and whatever else. But it's the 8th of August now. That's the day we play Southampton. So I'm going to go and play Southampton and the first half of the season. And I'll see you on the other side of this transition for part 2. And please leave a like on the video. Thank you very much. Welcome back to part 2. I thought better give you your mid-season update. It's the 6th of January at the moment. And things are going very well. Very, very well, in fact. But my God, have things got stressful since the month of December came about. We started off the season absolutely fantastically. We got Southampton picked up a 2-0 win. Robin van Duven getting a couple of goals in that match, just like he did in the game against Crystal Palace that we won 4-2. We then beat Fulham 2-0 and Liverpool we beat 2-0 as well. Now, I'm going to pre-warn you, this has been an absolutely mental season. It really has. And you'll see that when I show you the various different tables and stuff. Then we played the Carabao Cup third round of, yes, again, we went out of the third round stage, this time to West Ham. We lost 2-1. It was a bit of a rotated squad in this game. Not a massive amount, but Brian Aguirre was in, Brandon Williams, Victor Mendes, Lewis Travis, Ben Rahu, Sammy Smodics, Harry Leonard. It was only really 2 centre-backs there and Isaac Johansson that would not, and a goalkeeper, Jonas Erbig, who would normally be considered first choice. We then played Manchester United in the Premier Division and drew 1-1. And this was a disappointing result because you'll see where they are in the league shortly. And they offered us a job interview. I did obviously decline it, but they offered us a job interview much later in the season. Then we started a Champions League campaign against Galatasaray with a 2-1 win. Striker Robin van Duven getting on the score sheet again. Then we played Wolves in the Premier League, a 3-0 win in that one. So also pay attention to all these clean sheets we're keeping as well, bearing in mind the tactic that we brought into effect. Then we played Copenhagen in the Champions League and won 2-0. We then beat West Ham, even though we couldn't beat them in the Carabao Cup, we managed to beat them in the league 2-1. Then we had Arsenal, who we beat 1-0. Then we beat Brighton 4-0 in the league. Then back in the Champions League again, and this was the most mental result so far. We played Real Madrid and we beat them 2-1. It was just crazy. It really was. We went 2-0 up, Leo Sauer and Vitor Gabriel. And then Vinicius Jr. pulled one back on 14 minutes. And to be honest, we actually did deserve the win. We were really good value for money in that game. Sammy Smodics on the score sheet against Norwich in a 1-0 win. Then a 3-0 win against East Lancashire rivals Burnley, who we have to beat when we play them and we have to finish above them in the league. Then we had Arsenal in the Champions League, and that was their first real beating of the season, really. 3-0 against them. That was not a pleasant result. Odegaard, Jesus and Havertz on the score sheet for them. Then we played Chelsea in the league and won 3-1. Then we played Everton in the league and won 1-0. Then we came up against Celtic and picked up a 2-0 win against Celtic in the Champions League before then losing to, at the time, was a 12th placed Manchester City 1-0. We then lost to Tottenham, who are currently top of the table and have been our rivals all season so far. We lost to them 2-0 as well. And the month of December just was absolutely mental. At one point, we had so many injuries that I was having to field under 21s in my first team and in my on my subs bench. And yeah, it just wasn't a good month, December, in terms of injuries and suspensions and whatever else. We then beat Fiorentina 2-1. Then we played Newcastle and beat them 3-2. We then got a 2-2 draw against Aston Villa, who are third in the league, by the way, Aston Villa. Got a 2-2 draw against them. Then we played Manchester United. Now look at this team. I'll probably put a screenshot on screen round about now of what our injury list actually looked like. But we had Mark Larkin, who's an under-18 with a little bit of potential. You know, we'll give him his dues on that. We had him playing at left back. Joe Rankin Costello was playing. And we just about managed to get the team out there. But we, like I say, we also had Max Davis, who you might remember we gave a game to last season at centre-back. We had him on the bench at one point as well. It was... I just can't believe the injuries we've had and suspensions. Then we played Leicester and beat them 2-1. Then we played Bournemouth and beat them. We didn't beat them. We drew with them 1-1. Then we played Crystal Palace most recently in the Premier League and we beat them 2-0. And we've got Wigan coming up in the third round of the FA Cup. Obviously, that's the competition we're the holders of, so we need to try and put up a good fight in that. In the Champions League, we've still got 2 more games to play. We've got Benfica, who are currently 16th. And then we've got Juventus, who are currently 25th. I mean, Juventus 25th in a Champions League group. What is this world coming to? If we look at that Champions League group, we are currently third. Arsenal top, Bayern Munich second, Tottenham fourth, Barcelona fifth. But when you look further down, you've got PSG and Inter Milan, who are sitting outside the automatic qualification spots, along with Manchester United and Chelsea. Man City are down in 19th at the moment and only 1 point inside this blue area, along with Real Madrid, who are only in there based, I presume, on results against certain teams they've played against. But then you've got Juventus, who currently are not even qualifying for the blue bit. And it's just mental. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. At this point, I'm actually thinking we might win the Champions League. I mean, that is a joke. We won't. But you look at the Premier League table, we are second in the Premier League, 1 point behind Tottenham. Aston Villa are 2 points behind us with a game in hand. Liverpool are 7 points behind us. But then you go all the way down to 12 points behind us is Manchester City. And 14 points behind us is Arsenal. And Burnley, they're 7th. They're doing what we done when we came up. They're 7th in the league on 33 points. Chelsea are currently 11th. Man United are 13th. If we actually look at the table, we actually look at the past positions. And if we look at our positions, as you can see here, we've spent a large part, maybe even the majority of this first half of the season, top of the table. We started off in first, spent a few weeks in second. Then from game week, game week 6 up to game week 14. So 8 weeks we were top of the table. We dropped down for 1 week, went up for 2 more weeks, went down for 1 week, then went back up for another week. So 11 weeks out of the 21 that's been played, so over half, we have been top of the table. It has been absolutely crazy. Manchester City, so I mean, look at them. They've been. I think that's where we played them, or around this area. They were 12th down there. They were just plummeting and plummeting and plummeting. Then they've had a bit of a fight back since then. Arsenal at the same time, I mean, they've been as low down as 16th, and they've crawled their way back up slowly but surely to 6th. And again, Chelsea, I mean, look at this. The highest Chelsea have been is 6th, and at the moment they're down in 11th. And then we get to Manchester United, and you can see why they offered us a job. I mean, yes, they've been as high as second after the first game week, but it's basically been free fall after that. Since the free fall, the highest they've been is ninth, and they're currently in 13th, where they've kind of plateaued at the moment. So yeah, it's just been a mental season so far. On the plus side, what I will say is this guy here, Orkan Koku, whatever, however you say it, 4 stars he's up to at the moment. He has been the signing of our season at the moment. 13 million we paid for him, 17 appearances, 14 goal contributions, 4 player of the match awards at 7.45. He has been nothing short of sensational, and he is absolutely outdoing our big named central midfielder Isaac Johansson. He's also picked up 6 yellow cards. We have had a lot of yellow cards. If I take you to the home screen of this, now bear in mind we altered our tactic, and the reason why we altered our tactic was because we wanted to improve our defensive record, but we also wanted to do it without really impacting our ability to score goals. Up until recently, we have been the best for scoring goals, but we've now dropped down to second best. But we have got the best goal difference, or the best goals conceded in the league. We've only conceded 15 goals in 21 games. So in that respect, our tactic is working a treat. What it does also mean is we've picked up 48 yellow cards in our first 21 games in the league. I mean, that is insane. It's over 2 yellow cards a game. And yeah, we are the worst for the disciplinary side of things. If we look at our player stats up here, Robin van Duven has got 10 goals as their top goal scorer. Orkan Koku is the highest average rate in most assists, with 10 assists as well in all competitions. Obviously, this is Matheus Moreno's best pass completion, 95%. Orkan Koku also having 5 player of the match awards. And Vitor Gabriel has picked up 8 yellow cards in all competitions. I mean, to put that into some sort of perspective, it's 8 yellow cards in 20 games. So he's not far off a yellow card every other game. He's obviously our right back. He's had a pretty decent season, actually. It doesn't look that good here. 6.81, only 1 assist. But he's not the attacking fullback. That's Archie Brown, of course. If we have a look at our tactic at the moment, and I mean, there you go, we've got somebody else suspended now. We're getting players back. I think against Wigan, we are going to field as much of a reserve team as we possibly can. However, if we look at the finances, we've got nothing left in the transfer budget, and we've only got about £13,000 left in the wage budget. We've only got 2 million in the bank. Our financial status has gone from rich to secure. And a lot of that has boiled down to the fact that we're having to pay the fees for players that we brought in, and we had like with Jack Hinchelwood, after 50 games we played Brighton 17 million, I think it was. We've now had to pay that 17 million, which wiped out our transfer budget. And there's been a couple of others where we've had to pay a similar sort of thing, and it's obviously been coming out of the overall budget rather than giving me a negative transfer budget. As a result, we've had some transfers potentially going through, and I'm accepting them because I'm trying to be sensible with the money side of things. I want to get money back into the club. So Therese Dolan, who's with us at the moment on £43,000 a week, 25-year-old. He's good. I like Therese Dolan, but it looks like we're going to have to let him go. We've had an offer from SH Port, whoever they are, for 15.25 million, potentially rising to 35 million. We've accepted that. He's most likely going to be on his way out. Then we've had Harry Leonard, and we've rejected an offer from New York because they just wanted to pay us £500,000 a month for a few months with no fee afterwards. I said, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Other offers we've had come in, Huddersfield have come with an offer not paying anything or any of his wages or anything, but a future fee upon avoiding relegation from the Sky Bet Championship. They're 23rd at the moment, but only about 3 points away from the relegation zone. So if he does accept that one, there is a good chance we could get money from that. And if we do, it's going to be 8.25 million up front with a 9.25 million in 2 6-monthly instalments. The other offers we've accepted, we've got this one from Ipswich. If he plays 10 games for them, then they'll pay us 7.25 million plus 9 million in 2 6-monthly instalments. Plus they're going to pay 20% of his wages and give us a bit of a loan fee as well. So this is my second of the 3 offers that I'd prefer him to accept. The one that I would absolutely prefer he accepts is the one from Coventry. They're not paying anything up front, but they've got a mandatory fee in place of 5.75 million with an additional 7.5 million in 2 6-monthly instalments. The fact that's mandatory is a reason why I prefer that they paid us that one. So yeah, I'm trying, like I say, trying to be sensible with the money side of things. So I just thought if we can bring in 15 rising to 35 million there, and then potentially another 12 to 15 million here at the end of the season, that could help significantly with the money. So that's really, I think, all there is to show you. Our team cohesion is very good. Our club atmosphere is very good. Our managerial support is very good. We've got players that want to leave, like Smodix and Leonard, that obviously wants to go. Willie Camboire wanted to go out on loan. If we do get an offer come in for Sammy Smodix, we will be selling him. So there is a potential that we could get rid of him. There's SH Port are interested in him on loan. I don't know if they can afford him and Therese Dolan. But there is a potential that by the time you see me in part 3, that he would have left at some point during this transfer window. So I think that's it for part 2. I'll see you after this transition for part 3. Can we win the Premier League? I want top 4. Let's be real about it. I want top 4. But we are in a fight to win the Premier League. And how well can we do in the Champions League? And can we retain our FA Cup? Let's find out. We've done it in episode 4 with 1 episode to go. We've won the Premier League, and believe me, that is not the end of the story either. It was an incredible season. If we have a look at the table in full, we finished top on 87 points with 67 goals scored, 26 goals conceded. We had the best defensive record in the league. That was my aim, to improve the defence with our new tactic this season, and oh my God, has it worked. 5 defeats, so we had 1 defeat more than second place Tottenham. We lost at home to Tottenham, we lost at home to Chelsea, and then away to Arsenal, Tottenham and Manchester City. I mean, to be fair to Tottenham, they've beaten us twice in the league, but they did lose to us in the FA Cup final again. The 3rd year in a row we've played Tottenham in the FA Cup final. We lost to them the first year, but we've beaten them 2 years in a row. But we'll go over to the competitions page. Champions League winners. Oh my word, this competition was mad. We beat Benfica in the final. I mean, if I asked you to guess who we beat in the final, how many guesses would it have taken for you to get to the name Benfica? I'm assuming it would have taken a few. Now, we'll have a look at the Champions League because it was mental. I mean, we started off in the round of 16 where we played Lille, narrowly got past them 2-1 on aggregate. And then we had that lovely quarter-final and semi-final draw all in one go. What I will point down to in the round of 16, Manchester United lost 10-0 to Barcelona in one game. This was madness. Can we click on it? Yeah. Oh, hang on. There you go. 10-0 at the Nou Camp. 6-0 down at half time. That was after United won 3-0 in the leg at Old Trafford. But let's have a look at the rest of the rounds. So here's a quarter final, and we got drawn against AC Milan in the quarter final. Again, I didn't think, when we got drawn against Lille, I thought that's probably one of the kindest ties we could have had. I think being drawn against AC Milan was also one of the kindest ties. I did at the time think, oh, lucky Tottenham, they got drawn against the outsiders Benfica. How wrong was I on that one? And then a 5-1 aggregate win over AC Milan. Then came the semi-final, and we had Barcelona in the semi-final, and we just got through. We won the first leg, the home leg, I think it was. We won, was it 3-1? Sorry, I'm just trying to find the actual thing here. 4-1, there you go. Won the home leg 4-1, and then the away leg we lost 2-0. And Barcelona were very, very close to getting that to extra time penalties and potentially knocking us out. But Benfica, on their way through the competition, they've beaten Bayer Leverkusen in the round of 16, Tottenham in the quarterfinals, and then Bayern Munich in the semi-finals, to set up a final between us and Benfica, a final that I don't think anyone would have predicted at the beginning of the competition. If we have a look at our schedule, and the last time when we came back for part 2, that was, we played the Palace game, it was just before we played the Wigan game. And as you knew from part 2, last game of December and last game of November and all of December, we were not in particularly good form, and we were playing a lot of the big teams, the likes of Man City, Tottenham, Newcastle, Villa, Man United. Playing all of those at this time. I think we had Chelsea a little bit before that, and we were struggling at this point. We had a mass load of injuries as well. January was a really good month. We only lost one game, which, funnily enough, was to Benfica in the league stage of the Champions League. We lost that 3-1. But every other game we won, beating Wigan in the third round of the FA Cup and then Plymouth in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Getting pretty decent draws in the FA Cup as well. We have had that in the 2 years that we've won it. We've been pretty fortunate on the draw, I have to say. Then we got to February, and again, a really good month, win after win. We had a draw there against Brighton away from home in the Premier League, but we beat Luton Town in the 5th round after extra time. Not luckily, but we had to beat Burnley because they're our East Lancashire rivals, and we did. Then came the Champions League round of 16 with a 1-0 away win against Lille. Then we drew the home leg 1-1. In the middle of that, we lost in the Premier League to Chelsea. And then we beat Bournemouth, 2 own goals in that game, in a 2-0 win, by the way, in the FA Cup quarter-final, and then drew a league game. So we'd only played 2 league games in March, and we hadn't won either of them. Then we get to April, and a win against Manchester City in the league, followed up by a win in the first leg, the home leg against AC Milan in the Champions League. Then we lost 1-0 in the league to Arsenal. By this point, our last 3 league games, we'd lost 2, drawn 1. We were not on a particularly good run in the league. Then we played the second leg against AC Milan, quarterfinals, second leg, won that one 2-1 away from home. We then won the FA Cup semi-final, obviously at Wembley against Liverpool, won that 2-1. But then we played Tottenham in the league and we lost again. So this is 3 defeats and 1 draw in our last 4 league games. And at this point, the little bit of a gap that we'd built up was seriously gone. Tottenham were right there, I think 1 or 2 points behind us. Then we played Newcastle in the league and finally got a win. That was 1 win in 5 in the league. Then the semi-final against Barcelona, like I say, we got that 4-1 win. Then we beat Aston Villa 1-0. Then we lost to Barcelona. And then we had a run of games where it was the literal every game is a cup final. Leicester, we won 1-0 in the league. Bournemouth, we won 2-0 in the league. A nice last 2 games to get us through to the end, really. Then we beat Tottenham 3-1 in the FA Cup final. And then we beat Benfica 2-1 in the Champions League final. And we have a look at the FA Cup, and we've been in the final along with Tottenham for the last 3 years. I think next year, Tottenham have been in the last 4 FA Cup finals, losing 3 of them. How Spursy is that, I guess? But yeah, overall, it was just, I can't get over what the season's been like. Finances, these were looking horrific at one point, by the way. We were in the red. It was saying secure. We had no transfer budget. We were overspent on the wage budget. Then, because of how well the season went on and the money that's now come in from winning the Champions League and all that sort of stuff, we've now got 61 million in the bank. We're back to being rich again. We've got a transfer budget of 69.5 million and a wage budget of 2 million, which means we've got about 250,000 at the moment to spend in the wage budget. If we have a look at our squad, expiring contracts, Jake Garrett will be leaving. Felix Goddard will be, he's a backup goalkeeper anyway. Dominic Biniek will be leaving. We will probably end up selling Sammy Smodics as well, because he wants to go. He's requested to leave. Harry Leonard wants to leave as well. So there's going to be quite a few players leaving. And as a result, we'll be bringing quite a lot of players in. So for part 1 of next week's video, which will be the final part of the video, or the final episode of the series, I should say, there will be several changes. And you're probably asking, well, what's the point in doing a season 5 if you've already achieved the aim of winning the Premier League? Because we want to see if we can win it again. It's as simple as that. We are rebuilding Blackburn Rovers. We've won the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup. We just want to see what else we can win with them next season, and it will be, like I say, our final season. On that subject, if there's a club you'd like to see me rebuild, drop it in the comments. Let me know the name of the club and a little story behind them as well as to why I should rebuild that club. I'll have a look at them, and if there's anything in there that interests me, I'll be more than happy to go with it. In terms of dynamics, excellent. Everything's going really well in that regard. Our tactic is amazing. It's got us the best defensive record, one of the best attacking records. I do need to sort out the striker situation because Van Duven, league-wise, has got 12 goals in 35 games at 6.77. He's got 17 in 53 overall with 3 assists. But I've just not been impressed with him. I don't know whether I'll stick with him for another season or whether he's just not going to be good enough. I don't know if it's that or if it's just the tactic doesn't support the lone striker particularly well. Orkun Koku, by the way, has been immense. He's 4 stars. He's 26 years old. His valuation is 39 to 51 million. And 11 goals, 10 assists, 5 player of the match awards in 32 appearances at 7.27. I'm not going to go through all the players now because we'll do that in the end of season review coming up very shortly. But this has been a sensational team, and I'm just wowed by it. I really am. I'm absolutely wowed by how good this team is. But yeah, let's get to the end of season review and we'll have a look in a little bit more details to how well we've done and how well some of the players have done. Oh my God, look at them trophies. The Premier League trophy, the Champions League trophy, the FA Cup, the Community Shield. We have qualified for the Club World Cup. I'm not sure if I said that in the previous bit, but yeah, we have qualified for that as well. So I'll bring you up to date on how that goes as of when we play in it, basically. So let's have a look at the new arrivals. No surprise, Orkun Koku has been given the Sign of the Season award. 16 million, 50 appearances, 15 goals, 20 assists at 7.31 overall. We did have an internal takeover, by the way. So the old chairman's out the door, new one's in. He said he's glad to be here and he's not going to invest any money into the club. So just carry on as you are. Complete waste of time. Isaac Johansson, for me, also has to be considered as part of a Sign of the Season because it is a free transfer. 52 appearances, 8 goals, 9 assists at 6.96. Samuel Vignato has had a great season as well. 17.25 million from Brianza. 60 appearances, this guy, mate. He don't get injured. He's always available. 14 goals, 9 assists at 6.95. Jonas Erbig from FC Köln for 25.5 million. 57 appearances. He was a Golden Glove winner in the Premier League for the most clean sheets at 6.94. Victor Mendes, really good, solid backup player for us from SEP. 13.25 million. 16 starts, 11 subs appearances, so 27 appearances in total. 3 goals, 1 assist as a defensive midfielder. Leo Sauer, 15 million from Feyenoord. What's that? 45 appearances, 6 goals, 6 assists at 6.88. Vita Gabriel, right back from ATM, £12 million, 43 appearances, 2 goals, 6 assists at 6.86. Robin van Duven from PSV, 7.5 million we spent on him, 53 appearances, 17 goals, 3 assists at 6.76. Let me know in the comments if you think I should be sticking with him for next season or if I just need to buy someone better. In terms of transfers out, Nicola Cavallino, we've received the 61 million for him now. He's had a really good season at Al Ittihad for 7.46. He's a quality goalkeeper. He's going to have that. James Garner has gone to Manchester United. Good riddance. Glad you're enjoying being in the bottom half of the table. We've just won a lot of trophies. So that serves you right. 50 million we got for him. 53 appearances for United. 2 goals, 3 assists at 6.86. Not really. There's no real transfer fee for anybody else to talk of, but they're the ones that went. Ryan Hedges did leave recently as well. Then season to remember, I mean, we should be an A for everything. 100% average home attendance. like I say, by the end of September of this year, we should have that increased to 35,500. Finishing first, Champions League winner, 100% home attendance again. Vignato and Van Duven were top goal scorers in the Champions League. Van Duven was the top goal scorer in the Premier League. In the FA Cup, Therese Dolan was their top goal scorer. Full house again, and we won it. Carabao Cup, third round. My aim for next season is to try and do better in the Carabao Cup, because we've been abysmal in that competition. 100% home attendance again. Ben Rahu with 1 goal, the only goal we scored. And then we won the Community Shield as well. Biggest win, 4-0 win against Brighton. Match to remember was a 2-1 win against Real Madrid. Yeah, I'll probably go with that. Goal of the season was Orkun Koku. Rovers attacking midfielder Orkun Koku shows his class by scoring a powerful 28-metre free kick. He scored a few free kicks. He did score a lot of penalties as well. And that was in a 2-1 win against West Ham. Now, surprisingly, broadcast revenue's down. I have no idea how it's down when we've got to the final of the Champions League and we've won the Premier League and all this sort of stuff. But somehow it is down. Our reputation has gone up to 4.5 star worldwide now from 4-star national. Sponsorship, despite having no new sponsorship deals, has gone up by 5 million. That's gone down by 3 million. Corporate and hospitality has made a slight increase. Competition prize money, massive increase as you would imagine. And matchday commercial and retail has gone up by a little bit as well. £2.42 million in merchandise sales, I can say it, which equates to 42,508 shirts sold. Orkun Koku, top of that list, Johansson, Vignato, Pirola, Erbig, with the exception of Pirola, who was already here. The other 4 are all new signings. Then we have our best 11. It goes with Erbig in goal, Brown left back, Gabriel right back, Moreno and Pirola in the middle, Hinshelwood, Johansson and Koku in the midfield, Dolan and Vignato out wide, and Van Duven up top. I would go with that. I'd say that's a fair first 11. I've won several Manager of the Month awards and Manager of the Year. Koku is the Fans Player of the Year. Jonas Erbig is the Young Player of the Year. Orkun Koku has got the Sign of the Season, as well as the Goal of the Season, as well as most assists, as well as most Player of the Match. You're starting to see who our most important player was. Robin Van Duven, as we say, with the top goal scorer. Most passes completed per 9 minutes was Lewis Travis. Does it say who's in the Naughty Boys club on here? Most yellow cards? No, we'll have a look at that in a moment. Record breakers. Orkun Koku has broken 2 records. The one for assists, he's got 20 assists this season. And for most player of the match awards in the season for 9. And Jonas Erbig has taken the record off Nikola Kavlina for the most clean sheets. Blackburn started better than anyone would have expected and continued in that vein, storming all the way to the title. That spell of football at the start of the season was the making of Blackburn. It really set them up for success, and there's their trophies right there. Manager timeline is what the manager timeline is. If we have a look at the support profile, hardcore, core and family has all gone down, but fair weather has gone up and casual has gone up too. The supporters influence, I think that's gone up now. It was 2 stars, I think, and now it's gone up to 3 stars. And we have 2.1 social media followers. That's the season review, which we've just done. The analyst report will accept the club vision. They want to be competitive in the Champions League and qualify for the Europa Conference League next season. Highly ambitious board we have. End of season team meeting. Let's talk about the Premier League. We want to qualify for the Conference League is what the board are saying, and that means that they're satisfied. Oh no, I don't want to point the finger. That's the sort of reaction I was after. And we'll leave because I don't want to upset anybody. And that really is all she wrote. We're going to go to Austria for our pre-season, I think. We went to the USA last year. Don't want to spoil them too much. In terms of staffing, I mean, they're letting us have 23 scouts. I mean, what are they doing to me? They've already upped this on numerous occasions in the closed part of the season. But as you see with staffing, we are waiting on a scout and a coach to come through. They're going through the work permit side of it at the moment. Once the coach does, that attacking thing will be gold, so we'll be the best coaching set up in the league, and we can still hire another 5 coaches. So I'll probably bring in fitness coaches, set piece coach, and whatever else I think we need. We can, I mean, at the moment we're fourth and fourth, for scouting, and they're letting us bring in another 9 plus a recruitment analyst. I mean, that is mental. We'll bring them in, we'll make that gold as well, and then we'll get a physio and a sports scientist in. At the moment, we are 6th in that, so it'll bump up a little bit. It won't do a great deal for us, but it will do something. Right, I don't think there's any need to change the tactic. I'm really happy with what we've got there, but we will be letting players go. The one last thing I do want to show you is the youth intake. And Frank Fofana is our star boy, basically. 1.5 star current with 4 to 5 star potential, and he's got 20 for determination. So there's every chance he could get that five star potential in current. He's Austrian, he's 15 years old, he turns 16 on the 3rd of July. We're not going to see the best out of him, but that is a really decent signing. And we have a few decent ones, actually. It was a pretty good youth intake, to be quite honest. And in terms of this, we've got a strong under 21, a strong under 18. We've not done much with a youth team, but I think overall we've got to be pretty happy with how the youth side of things are going at the moment. So thank you very much for watching, folks. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next Sunday for the 5th and final episode of Rebuilding Blackburn Rovers.